Larsson here. Larsson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly, how about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you! In for Henrik Larsson, and Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic! Here is Shunsuke Nakamura! Exquisite!
Good evening and welcome back along to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP, and joining me this Monday night, my good man Mr. Ryan Clifford, and our sponsor of the channel, folks. Some of you might not have seen his lovely face, and some of you might have already, but it is indeed Mr. Alec Beveridge of AB Entertainment. Good evening, mate. How are you?
I'm good, lads. How are you? Is all right?
Oh, good,
Yeah,
mate. Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I know it's been a while, mate. It has been a while. Busy summer. So, yeah, good to get back talking about football again.
Yeah. Obviously yourself, you've not been, like you says, you've not been on for a wee while, mate. So, in terms of Celtic over the summer, mate, what's your thoughts regarding what's been kind of going on with the club, mate?
Like I've said before on here, I tend not to watch friendlies because they do frustrate me. But I did. Do you know, I watched it against Estrella. And
was that me bleach or beer or water? What was it?
Was that me a can of Estrella watching Estrella?
The Estrella Cerveza I was drinking watching at 11 in the morning. It was that bad. So that kind of kicked it off to watch, and then I started watching. I watched the Sporting game. I thought they were really good there.
Mm-hmm.
I caught glimpses of the Newcastle game, and I watched the poor show during the week against Ajax. So a topsy-turvy pre-season, I think, for previous ones. But that's what it's all about. It's getting minutes in the legs and stuff, you know. So, but as I said, I try not to take too much into pre-season. But the way the drums have been going the past few weeks, I think a lot of people are quite alarmed with the way we're moving.
Yeah, like you says, it's been a wee bit of a topsy-turvy period over the kind of summer so far, and obviously pre-season. Some good results, some good performances, and then other results maybe not have went Celtic's way, and performance levels have not went our way either. Obviously, before I bring you in, Ryan, I just want to say a very warm welcome to all that's watching us across the platforms. I hope you've had a really good weekend, and I hope you're all well. We'll try and get some of your comments up as we go. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask your lads. I've also got a wee video. I'll play that in a wee while for us with one of our regular viewers as well, has sent us in a wee audio clip, so we'll get that up as well, and we'll get a wee chat about that. But obviously, Ryan, just touching on what Bev was saying there, it has been a bit of a kind of mixed bag over the summer, mate. But we spoke at length on here, mate, regarding the kind of pre-season and what it's all about. And listening to Callum McGregor, you know, it's done what it says on the tin, and it's basically for fitness. And I was listening to him say that the boys are in a really good place in terms of their fitness, and that's always good to hear, mate, because you don't want to be picking up injuries in these kind of friendlies and picking up kind of needless niggles and stuff that you know teams can certainly get. So that was really refreshing to hear, and also that they're in a good place in terms of physical wise. Aye,
definitely physical wise, they should be ready to go now. normally or the double sessions I've done early doors, I'll know yourself, lads, you're playing football yourself, it only really takes you, maybe not that at the level they're playing at, but well, the level we played at, the level they played at, it should only maybe take them 2 weeks or so and they should be back to kind of flying, especially if they look after themselves during the off season, in which they kind of need to do now. They can't really get away with not doing it because they'll obviously get trackers all the time and they need to do their own things and they need to put in for done 5Ks, 10K. So you can't really get away with being, if you want to call it Fat Club now, that's what it used to call it, man. So you can't really get away with that now in modern day football. So pre-season, that is, majority that is just about getting fit and getting new players involved and seeing how the team is. And like Bev says, it's been a mixed bag. Sporting Lisbon was a decent performance considering the games before it wasn't great. And I was thinking, right, we look a lot better here. And then Newcastle, I'm thinking, right, this is better. And then you see Ajax, I'm thinking, right, that wasn't great. So it's kind of went phase progressing and then back down a wee bit. So the first half against Ajax was Ajax, No, Ajax, wasn't it? You beat Affy. No,
Yeah, we lost that game. We ended up losing that game 5-1, right?
No, sorry, El Ali, sorry, other night. The first half against, and penalties, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The first half of that was a pretty poor show as well. So I do think there was some players in that game. We'll touch on as we go that maybe not done themselves justice to beat the club longer, or maybe it was a last chance to go and put a stamp on maybe in the squad wise or potentially staying at the club. But 9 times out of 10 pre-season is all about getting fit, mate, getting new ideas, and because I'd imagine there'll be new ideas for Brendan this year in different ways he's doing, because you can't be the same. It might be effective, but eventually you need to change every year what you're doing, because if we do the same stuff, teams will end up getting used to it and they'll find us out. So you always need to evolve with new tactics, and that's another thing you can experiment pre-season. But as Bev says, the drums have been banging. I can see why, and I'm agreeing with a bit of it as well. So I can understand why fans are not happy, but I can also take fans' positivity, because it's all about opinions. I'm no right and I'm no wrong. It's all about what you feel and how you see situations. So it's a mixed bag, mate, of pre-season so far, I would say.
Bev, that one was to you.
Oh, was it? No, it's, I mean, pre-season is what it is. You know, as Ryan says, it's you get the minutes in the legs. You see how we are. You try to get our fitness. You try and get the young boys, the ones that are on the fringe. You try and get them mixing with the first team. You know, to see if there's maybe a wee hidden gem or something that we've overlooked. But it is hard. It's hard because we are looking to progress to, you know, the level that we got to last season in Europe. I mean, that's what we're looking to do. It's nothing to do with, I don't think, we domestically anymore. I think that's where how everybody's getting so high and mighty, because we're looking to progress in Europe. And as it stands right now, we're nowhere near the level we are last season right now. With the players that we've lost and who we've brought in, you know, it's not the caliber or the quality that we're looking for. But I mean, there's still 4 or 5 weeks of the window to go, and we always do seem to do business late. You know, with the Ange era, we did get people in early, and we were all excited that we were getting it in early, and that was the way going forward. But then when Brendan comes back, we get back to, you know, last minute stuff. So yeah, it's hard, but I'm not panicking, but I would like to see a few more faces in earlier than usual. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't like to leave it to last minute kind of thing again.
Yeah, I can understand some of the apprehension to an extent, but I don't get the panic in terms of the way Celtic fans, and I've seen it firsthand, the way they're panicking, lads. I don't get it. I don't understand this. A team that just were a ball hair away from winning the treble just a couple of months ago. They also got to the knockout phase of the Champions League, but that seems to be forgotten. All of a sudden, you know, the lack of perception of the team that's currently there and their ability, that's forgotten about. I heard a comment the other day on on one of the social media platforms saying, well, that was last season. Yeah, but these guys haven't lost that ability from then till now. If anything, they've probably developed on. But I want to run through the team, lads, because obviously that's been a big thing for me, the way I've looked at it. Now, obviously, the league starts, as we all know, this coming weekend. Celtic don't play until Sunday at 4:30 at Celtic Park. Looking at the team, now, for me, you've got Kasper Schmeichel, who's still the goalkeeper. Alistair Johnson is the right back. You've got Cameron Carter-Vickers. You've got Liam Scales, who'll probably no doubt start, I would imagine, because he's been a mainstay for a foreseeable time now in the team. And you brought in a guy who upgrades our left-back position massively in Kieran Tierney. Now, right away, the ones that I've just rhymed off, for me, that's a stronger team than the one we had last season. Then we move into midfield. You've got our captain, Callum McGregor, Rio Watati, and again, another guy who wasn't there last season in Benjamin Nygren. Now, I know Benjamin's only played a few games, but the early signs is that this guy has got sheer ability. And he's a player that we didn't have last season as well. So for me, that's an upgrade on what we potentially had last season as well. Now you're looking at the wing positions. I know where fans then start to become a bit flustered and a bit worried, lads, because obviously we are definitely short of numbers in the both wide areas due to Jota being injured and obviously Nicholas Kuhn's now been sold on. So we're now left with Yang and obviously James Forrest. Now, everybody keeps saying James Forrest is aging, but he still keeps hitting these numbers, that it's phenomenal. Last season he's became Celtic's most decorated player ever. That's probably the main area right now. I would say if you add even one winger just now to help, potentially two before the window even shuts, and then obviously the number 9 position. But the number 9 position now, you've got Adam Ida, SHIN Yamada, who made his debut. We're obviously going to touch on that as well as we go. And you've still got Johnny Kennedy. Now you've signed another lad in Callum Osmond. So how many players how many do we need? Where do we put all these guys? Some are going to say to me, JP, the young boy Callum Osmond might not play. Well, that's true, he might not. But up until now, there's still a decision needs to be made on these boys. But when you touch on the individuals I've mentioned just now, before I've even went to the bench, then you go through all their CVs individually and the experience they've all had playing together, what they've won together, playing in the Champions League, getting to the knockout phase of the Champions League, going down to teams like Aston Villa, Big Ida scoring the 2 goals that night. Really great experience, and amongst all that squad, Callum McGregor, no more than nobody. So, I do not see the massive panic, lads. I really don't. I don't see where... Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Maybe we're getting older. You become more relaxed when you look at things in life, in my opinion, when you get a bit older. But I don't see this urgency for massive panic. That team's still more than capable of opening up a domestic campaign against anybody. Because we're the best. That's a fact. We've now proven that over the years. So obviously, Ryan, I'll put that one to you, mate. Looking at that squad just now, mate, nobody's convincing me that team aren't good enough to start this game on Sunday, regardless of what numbers you pick from that squad.
The first 11 is still strong enough to go and beat St Mirren. Bit weaker in squad-wise and squad depth for me. Like I say, we've let go of Palmer. I mean, you guys have let go of Palmer, Lagerbielke, Kwon, Rocky, Kuhn, Kyogo, Scott Bain, Taylor. Montgomery's back on loan and Jeffrey Slip and Jota's injured. So right away, people might say they were guys are for the first team guy. No, but you've lost a lot of squad depth there. Yang's inconsistent. James Forrest got 1 goal last season. So can you count him to be perform? Can we? Probably no at his age. Ida, 50-50 and a lot of fans. For me, I'm slowly starting to really write him off because I think his all-round play is not good enough. Osman, we don't know about yet. Johnny Kenny, with the looks at maybe going to Bolton. And Liam Scales, for me, he's not good enough to play with Celtic every week in that 11. I would never put Liam Scales in my strongest 11. Never again. If need be, he's got to play, then he's got to play. But it's far strong enough to go and beat St Mirren. For me, that's not the fans' point of view. I'm no panicking, I'm just frustrated because are we fully prepared for a league campaign and a potential European campaign right now? Nowhere near it. If we go into the Champions League game with this team next year, we won't do what we've done last year. Nowhere near it. And that's, like Bev says, that's the benchmark now. Like I says, was it last week I said it as well? What we done last year might have been a stroke of luck due to the result we got, but that's the standard now. And like we've all said on here, we probably outgrown Scottish football. So if we buy players for European football, you win the league.
Ryan, you can't say the Champions League was lucky, mate. Come on, we played a lot of
No,
good.
the draw was lucky. The draw, no, we won't get that draw. The chance of getting that draw again is not going to happen.
That's no, but I know what you're saying, but you know,
I'm not saying we're lucky in terms of result. No, I'm not saying that. But what I mean is, we got a good draw and we took advantage of that. But with this squad right now, if the transfer window ends right now, we were lucky to get a lot of points in Europe next year. I'm telling you, because every other team's improving. Every other team in the world's improving. Every other team in Scotland's improving. I'm not saying that we can't go and win the league because I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if the squad shuts right now, we're no stronger. Tierney's brilliant, by the way. Phenomenal. Negrin. But realistically, we've only got 2 starters right now. We don't know how good Yamada's going to be. We can't comment. Anamura, we can't comment. Because Brendan's still asking for quality. So he's telling us that he's not happy with the squad. He's asking for another striker. He signed Osmond. He signed Yamada. He's bought Ida last year. He's bought 3 strikers in a year and he's still asking for another striker. Is that no telling the fans that he's not happy about what he's been brought in? It's probably weak. As it stands right now, it's probably the weakest front 3 in terms of squad depth we've had in a long time. In terms of quality. Defence, I'm actually all right with Trusty, Vickers. I think Trusty will play, to be honest with you, mate. I don't know what you and Bev think, but I think Trusty's done enough in pre-season to be the guy next to Carter Vickers. Johnson, I think, might not play on Sunday. I think he might play the Alston for a bit and then play Johnson because he says him and CCV a wee bit physically maybe not up to it yet. Back 4, I'm fine with, but it's about always evolving the team. And for me, I'm not saying that I don't trust the board. What I'm saying is we need to tweak what we're doing. We can't, like Bev says, we cannot keep leaving things to the last week of the window because the team's not getting to go. Well, we all said last year about Engels, Trusty, either not getting a pre-season. It's got to be the same again if you sign 3 or 4 guys the last week of the window. And then we're all going to say, oh, next year we'll get a pre-season. Next year they'll be better. We can't keep, we need to do things quicker. Like Bev says, when Ange came in, it looks like to me, Bev, he just came in, there was nobody really above him to deal with recruitment. He's went, well, I'll deal with myself. It looked like to me, he was so hands-on and he'd done everything to do with the recruitment and everything else, and it worked. And I think Rodgers is actually getting a bit of leeway to the recruitment team and everything else. And I think eventually, for me, lads, I don't know what you think, Bill, on this, Bev. I think the manager's got to be ruthless here and go, look, I want him. If you need to pay more money, get him in the door. Because for me, that's the frustration for me, Bev. It's not the fact that we're not signing players or we're not getting guys in quick enough. We've got 3 weeks to go, by the way, to a European campaign. You see, you go and sign 2 guys this week or next week. Are they going to be fully in tune for the team? Probably no. That's my issue. I don't know what you feel, Bev, but that's my. It's not about the board, no trust in the board. It's not about that. It's about tweaking it, what we're doing, making sure we get guys in quick enough, but getting the guys who are quality. Because, like Yamada says, he knew about it since January. So where's the guys who were meant to be scouting the now for January onwards? Why they ain't on the door? But Yamada was on the door quite quickly early on for January. So he's obviously knew about that. So don't be feeling that, Bev. But I'm not panicking, but I can definitely see why fans are not happy.
Yeah, I get your point, Matt. The thing is we don't know what happens behind there. You know what I mean? We don't know the ins and outs, the scouting system and who Brendan wants and what this one wants. We don't know that. We're not privy to all that. We just need to go, like, we need to put our best in you and hope the ones you get in are good enough to play for Celtic. But when Brendan came back the second term, I did see a ruthless side of him. The first year and last year. This year, I'm not seeing as much, and I would like to see him the way he came in the first season back. He came in and he was, as I spoke to you, we spoke about it on here. He looked a totally different proposition for his first time here. I think he needs to get that wee bit of fire back again. For whatever reason it is, I don't know. But for me, yeah, I agree with JP and I agree with you, Ryan. That team there, me personally, I would go with Trusty rather than Scales. But we were more than capable of starting and beating St Mirren. But as we spoke about, the level is now Champions League. And as you say, Ryan, if we get players in for Champions League that are quality, you know, that have been around the block a wee bit, that know about European football, that know the big nights, the league takes care of itself. I agree with that. But it's getting that in, and I really do think for that to happen, we need these guys in sooner.
Yeah, for me, I think if Celtic fans were in control of Celtic's purse strings, I think Celtic would be in the gutter by Wednesday. That's where I see it totally. And in the old Rangers team, that's where Celtic would go if that was the case. And that's just not how football works, I'm afraid. It's just not how things work properly. Brendan Rodgers keeps asking for quality because that's what his ambition is. You know, through his time at Celtic, he's had some really good quality given the team to put on a park. Now, I've said it millions of times on here, Bev. Transfers isn't an exact science. No club gets it right all the time. Not even all the big clubs get it right all the time. Sometimes you will spend money, and it'll be money, you know, that you've not spent well enough. And I think a comment said it perfectly. Celtic spent big and broke their transfer record twice in the same summer window last year. And fans are now moaning about the two players. Yeah. They're now saying that the two players aren't good enough. And I just think it's bizarre. I really do, considering the season both of them had last season for me. And I must be going to games watching a totally different thing then. Because he'd have hit 20 goals. Engels, his best assist rate out of a lot of his career so far. He's came for the Bundesliga. You know, I'm seeing fans saying that we've not really spent money. But look, through the years, Celtic don't... That's Celtic's football trading model. Our trading model, the way we sell players and we use that money, we reinvest some of it in the squad, some of it goes to other things around the club. I don't know about me. I don't know if it's just me, Bev, but I just think a lot of this is madness. I really do.
Well, we've spoken about it on the chat, boys. I know that, and I said to you, is like the way football is now is, especially with the bigger clubs, the elite clubs, it's a business first and a football team second. That's just the way it is. You look at the way we're churning out tops and merchandises. I mean, you're 3 a year now, and then probably St Patrick's Day they'll bring out a top for St Paddy's Day again with retro stuff. You know what I mean? That's a fourth one you've got to buy, and then you know it's a business. And the elite clubs, that's how they make their money. That's where they get a lot of their money, through being based worldwide, and Celtic is a worldwide product. Let's no mistake about that. You know what I mean? As much as we're a Scottish team, Celtic worldwide is probably bigger than most. You know, they're up there with Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, stuff like Celtic is up there worldwide. And it's hard. It's hard being a as you say, Jack, we were a penalty kick away for another treble last year. Go to the knockout stages of the Champions League. I don't know where to emulate that and say that, oh no, you know, blah, blah, it wasn't good. We need to do better. Yeah, of course we need to do. We strive to do better, but you can't go. We've done it before with Barkas, with Albion Ayeti and others that I can hang with. We're not spent big money. Big money doesn't mean to say that they're going to be good players. You know, nobody. I keep reiterating this all the time. It's not the player's fault what the price tag is. That's between clubs, that's between agents. That's nothing to do with the player, how much the price tag is. And that's, I mean, you could go and buy a guy at £1 million and he's rotten. That's £1 million down the drain. You can go and buy a guy at 11 million quid and he's rotten. It depends on who you buy, who you scout. I don't like rushing in and getting all these ones, oh, we'll pay you 20, stupid money for people just because they're coming to the end of the transfer. Let's just pay that and get him in, and then he's a dud. So you need to just calm down and just trust the process, basically, about what you're trying to do and what we're trying to look at and who we're trying to get in. Because as I said before, we do not know what is going on in the background. For all we know, there's guys sitting there waiting. Because you've got to remember, there's different leagues start at different times. So different guys might be getting their holidays at different times. Your next big signing might be sitting on a beach, I'm not doing nothing until I come back from my holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stuff you don't know. And this is what frustrates us, because we don't know. But there's obviously something going on in the background, and there always is. But everybody does just get that wee bit frustrated and stuff about what is.
Yeah, there's a wee comment for Plunge here as we're chatting. There's 100%, mate. There's a wee comment for Plunge here. He says my comments are utterly ridiculous. It's no, mate. It's just the fact that I've got a different opinion for you, and obviously you don't like hearing my opinion, and that's fine. But I get to read your opinion throughout this channel and throughout this podcast. I don't have to agree with you all the time, but that's the beauty of it, mate. We all have different opinions. We all see things differently. And because you want to be negative about things and look at and bash the men that run the club and the way the club's run, etc., I don't need to jump on board with you, mate. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to give my opinion on my football club, and I'm here to tell the way I see things. So I wouldn't dare tell you not to do what you're doing. Same as I wouldn't like it reciprocated. So no, I wouldn't. I'm not going to change, mate, just because I've got a different point of view from you. Definitely no. Obviously as well, what I would put to you and yourself, Ryan, and obviously yourself, Bev, see if you were out with your family and you went in for your dinner somewhere, would you, just because you've got the money, would you go right to the dearest thing on the menu and go, I've got the money for that, I'll just go and buy that? Or would you try and keep money and go, do you know what, I'm going to keep money for later on as well, but I'll have something decent anyway that's at a decent price, and it doesn't need to be the dearest thing on the menu. That's why Celtic run the football club. It's this boy Jacob Brewer that we're after over in Go Ahead Eagles. It's, the media have portrayed this as Celtic have went in, with hundreds of bids for the guy and it's all been rejected, blah, blah, blah. The reason why these bids get put in is to start negotiation. That's why these bids get put in. That's our football transfer model. These bids get put in so that the clubs can start chatting and start getting a feel for one another or where one another stand. Now, fair enough, this club have came with a price. So Celtic will try and negotiate with them and say, right, we'll bring them here. But by the way, go and look at our track record of developing players. Go and look at our track record and what we do in terms of selling players on. And we'll throw on a another clause where if we sell him on, you will make a percentage of that. So Celtic right away aren't going to go and spend £6 million when Celtic might not think we'll develop this boy on and make next to nothing on the transfer. When if we owe this mob 20 or 30% of that transfer. Celtic aren't daft. These guys are in this position for they're in this position for a reason. And that's why I've spoke about the other deals that we've done. Like your O'Reillys, your Maedas, your Hatatis throughout time. That's why these deals get done by the day. Because Celtic see an end to, what they think these guys are going to first bring a squad. But like I said earlier, no every transfer is going to work out. There are going to be guys like Quan, who at the beginning, me and you even thought, Ryan, we're going to be decent and here we go. But then it turns out to just doesn't work out. Coming to Celtic I'm going to even say Go Ahead Eagles. I'm going to put myself out there and just say this, for Go Ahead Eagles, is like jumping from Partick Thistle to Celtic now, in my opinion, in terms of club stature. Where we are, look at the way the fan base are carrying on now, in terms of the way they think Celtic are doing this and we're not doing it quick enough and this one needs to go and he needs to go for the board and he's got to go for the board and blah, blah, blah. That's what you're coming to. It's a pressure cooker in here. You're coming for a smaller club where it's all right if you draw, And it's all right if you get beat. We'll start again next week. We'll come back. We'll try it again. See if you do that at Celtic, mate. You're hung out to dry. You're coming for... I mean, there's the two Japanese boys we've just recently signed. The two of them have just in the door. Inamura's, he's done okay over the last few games. Yamada looked good for what I was told on Saturday. Unfortunately, I was busy on Saturday and never got to actually see that. And these guys were written off, Ryan, for point blank. Oh, we don't know them, we don't want them, blah, blah, blah. I just think, personally, mate, it's absolutely mental.
In terms of the media, no, the media can talk a pile of nonsense sometimes, right? But especially when they're branding out fees and there's certain journalists putting it out there, it's probably true. Because there's certain guys like McGowan always leaks out Celtic information, so he's probably getting information for Celtic. Anthony Joseph put it out. For me, Nicholson and Lawwell, and they all say that Celtic are world class and everything they do and will show a bit of class. That guy this Jacob Brown, what his name is, he's one of the best wingers in Dutch football last year. 21 goals and assists in between the two of them. You're not getting that guy for £3 million. Behave yourself. You're not getting a guy who's done well in the top flight, who scored 21 goals and assists for a decent team, or an up-and-coming team in that league. If they've told Celtic, any club doesn't go for a player without knowing roughly the value of the player. That's just crazy.
We got Giakoumakis, who was the top scorer in Holland for £2.5 million. So we've done well with that one in the past.
But I think there's reasons right behind it, right? But a guy at that level, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get a very, very top winger for £3 million at a decent league. That's not going to happen, right? See, roughly, it's like Bev or yourself, or anybody who's doing a job, and you go and price a job. Just say I'm a painter, right? I'm a painter, and I say to you, right, Bev, it's £500 for the job, and Bev goes, I'll give you 250. You got to tell me to chase yourself.
No, I've seen you painting. I would give you 250.
That's all right, yeah, But that's the way. But that's the way Celtic are acted on this transfer. If the media must be relatively right, because they can't come out with all these sums if it's not right, because Celtic will come out and say something if it's not true. That's the way. If you say something that's not right, the Celtic will come out, and rightly so, come out and say, no, what are you doing here? That's not right. So Celtic will come out and say anything yet. So I'd imagine it's probably true. If that Go-Ahead Eagles boardroom or whoever it is that deals with transfers, I've said they're wanting roughly €6 million, and your first bid is 1.5. Come on, be respectful. If you want to be world class in what you do, be respectful and be world class. That's lowballing as a highest order. I can't accept that.
How do we know? Hold on. How do we know Celtic didn't bid 1.5 million before they knew what the player was worth? Like I says, again, they've probably spoke about add-ons and they've probably had this chat with them. I'm only surmising, mate. I don't do negotiations. I don't do anything like that.
If Celtic don't know the value of a player before even scout him, or even roughly, why scout a player you can't afford, or you can't? That's crazy. They must know roughly a player's value.
He would have been on a list of affordability, mate.
So,
that's
to bid 1.5 million is your starting bid, mate. They're starting bids and starting talk. But to go to 1.5 to 1.7 to 3 million, that's from...
It's because we've signed Maeda, it seems to be the go-to figure.
I know, but they're talking about being class and everything today and being this. That's disrespect for the highest order, mate. Bidding £1.5 million for a guy that's had one of the best seasons of his life at a very, very decent level. They've asked you for at least €6 million. At least go and bid 3.5 or 4 for the first bid. 1.5 from these, that needs called out. That's not how you work your business. That's me. My house is worth £1 million. A guy goes, I'll give you 400 grand. Cheerio, son.
He doesn't know your house is worth 1 million until you tell him.
But it's on the market for £1 million.
I've been in your house.
£1 million. I know it's no. But it's for me, lads. Again, it's all different opinions, right? I'm no right. I'm no wrong. This is my opinion. And Celtic always say they're world class in what they do, and they're be respectful and be world class. And don't be. There's been cheeky and there's been ridiculous and there's been very disrespectful. And bidding £1.5 million for a player who his market value is €6 million. is taking the piss, in my opinion, and that he's called out. That's the
Thanks very
board did a
much,
lot
mate.
of good
That's
things.
pretty good when I finish, mate. Thank you.
The board,
That's just the way to say that there. He's
the
easy,
board,
right?
the board,
Thanks very much.
the board have done a lot of good for the club, but things like that I can't accept. That there's low balling and there's been show a bit of class and what you're trying to do. Maybe bid £3.5 million or something. Even 3 million would have been a decent first bid.
Like I says, Ryan, that's not how it works with negotiations, mate.
Of course, JP, you can't back the club on this, mate. You can't. Nobody can back the club on this. You can't.
No, I can back the situation. I'm not backing the club. I can back the situation. I know where you're coming from, but I can back the situation.
You can't. Nobody can back a club bidding 1.5 or starting off when they're asking for 6. You can't back that up, mate. You can't.
But we don't
That's
know.
ridiculous.
See, until we know the facts, mate, we can't put anything
but it's
out
out there, though. There's sources who are reliable sources putting out there. They can't put that out if it's bullshit.
I know what you're saying, Ryan. I know what you're saying, Ryan. But Sky Sports News told us that Moussa Dembele had signed for Brighton on Christmas Day a few years ago, mate. That was bullshit.
I know what you're saying, but there's
hold on, you've went
but there's so
we're not able to put that out there until we
no,
know
aye.
the sources.
But they shouldn't put it out.
Exactly.
Celtic have obviously said to them, "Listen, that what you doing?" And it was too far right away.
So what I'm saying is,
it does happen, but when there's multiple sources who are close to Celtic, they get fed Celtic information or come out with information, it's got to be true. Celtic bidding £1 million for a player whose market value, that's so disrespectful. You're not going to get players for clubs if you're doing that. They're going to laugh at you and go, if that's why they did it, why are we going to accept a bid for him? You need to do things proper. That's the only thing I want to say about the board. They need to do things quicker and they need to do things, they need to tweak what they're doing because you're not going to get quality players with doing that. There's only so many bids you can bid for a player before they tell you to do one and we'll go to somebody else. PSV were coming out saying we're going to bid right away and pay the money right away. And right away, no, but they were going to, but they've went and get somebody else now. That's just, yours might be different for me, lads. The comments might be different for me, but
because he's coming to Celtic, Ryan, because the negotiations have started.
No, that's I can't agree with you on that, mate.
He's turning up with that photo of you in double denim, me man, you're going to go on a table tennis bat on the
Wonder Bar.
But I Wonder Bar, aye. But honestly, lads, in a serious conversation, in my opinion, nobody can back that up. That show a bit of class. You want to be class in what you're doing, then be class and be respectful and put in a proper bid to start the chat. No 1.5 million.
There's a good point there, Ryan. Obviously telling us that we were after Balak Richard and Mark Overmars comes out and said it's rubbish. So the media, they talk nonsense. It's no.
They talk nonsense, but there's realistic sources. Listen, we all know Steve McGibbon gets fed information with Celtic. He always puts certain information out. Anthony Joseph puts out the stuff with Celtic Sky. All these guys there. But
there's a difference knowing that Celtic might be targeting a player, and then there's a difference between that and then going and making up that they've made all sorts of bids for that player.
But why would media come out and say they've made up 3 bids? You don't. There's making things up and
all sorts of media sources, as Rab says there. Balak Wisha was on his way. Overmars rubbished it and says, no, that's not happening and blah, blah, blah. So, listen, as I said, mate, we actually don't know. But what I don't understand is the fans seem to get angry when it comes to this. And obviously, I'm going to bring you in on that, Bev. The fans get angry with stuff like this because, in my opinion, when it goes out, a lot of your fans believe, what's being said. Because like I said, and I've said it millions of times on this podcast, we're only being offered snippets. We only get snippets of what actually is the reality in terms of when clubs are doing business and this and that. But our fans seem to get angry when it comes to that side of stuff because our fans see that as if Celtic made 3 bids, they've not yet come up with the actual fee that they could potentially want. So therefore, you see all these words like lowballing and everything else is happening. But like I say, we actually don't know what's happening. So instead of getting angry, why don't we wait and we see what happens?
Yeah, we get angry because we don't know what's happening. As Ryan says, that there's all this stuff that gets put out, and you don't know if it's true or not, right? They're coming for good sources and stuff like that. But again, did they know 100% what's going on? We don't know. That's hitting a nutshell. We don't know what goes on. We don't know about the media side. We don't know about the scouting side. We don't know nothing. because we're no privy to it.
Mhm.
But there is wheels in motions within every club about how you go about your business. We might not like how it's getting done. We might not like the way it's getting, but that's just the way it is. Celtic have got a structure that set us up to be where we are now, and it's worked. You know what I mean? We're, as I said to you earlier, for 2002, Martin O'Neill come in and set a benchmark. I say, like, and since then, we have been spoiled. If you've been a fan coming into Celtic, watching Celtic for 2002, 2001, when Martin O'Neill come in, you have been spoiled with the success that we have had up until now. Absolutely spoiled. Get back to the 80s and 90s watching Celtic, and it's a totally different ballgame. It's a totally different structure that we had. It was a totally different setup. The way we went about our business. Look at that now, and it's totally different. We're up there. We've outgrown Scottish football with the way we are now. And it is frustrating. And we do get angry, but we're angry because we don't know. And that is it in a nutshell. We don't know. We want it to happen. We want it to happen yesterday. We want it to happen tomorrow. But it doesn't work like that. You know,
see on that side, Bev. Sorry to cut you, mate, but I'll put this to you. Do you know? I think that's one thing frustrates me is we're one of the quietest teams when it comes to letting the fan communication. The board are so away for the fan. We don't know nothing. They tell us nothing. There's teams. I can't remember what team it was. I seen it the other day. The owner or the chairman of the club came out and says what the plans were for the season. We're going to try and do this. We're going to try and do that. We hear nothing, mate. It's very.
Was it Nottingham Forest, Ryan?
No, it was somebody else. It was a foreign team. I can't remember who it was. But they came out, Bev, and says, like, this is the plans for the season. We're going to try and sign this quality, try and do this to the ground. We're going to try and... That's one thing I'll criticise. I'm not saying we need to know what Peter Lawwell or Desmond or Mackay are getting for a breakfast, but the communication between the club and the fans, I think, Bev, that's one thing I would say has to improve, because we know nothing, mate. Even about tickets or anything, we're always the last to hear about anything, mate.
The board, we've always been like that. The boards never get involved with the fans. The only time you see the board getting involved is when the Green Brigade do something wrong. That's the only time you see the board coming out and stating they don't want this, they don't want that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We've never had a relationship between the board and the fans. I don't think we ever will, the way we're going, you know. But you look at this, I do get both sides, right? And I'm trying to know but the success that the board's brought us, you can't moan at the board for no bringing Celtic success.
Nobody recognises it, Bev. See when they think something's not going right, that's when things are said.
It's easy to shout when things aren't going right, sack the board, you know. It's easy to say that, right? But it's an overall club. You need the board, you need the man, you need everybody to integrate it and buying into what you're trying to sell. If you don't do that, then you do get the wee the Sharks get flu and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You do get nights like that, and it's. You know what I mean? But it's that's the last time it erupted. That's what happened. You know what I mean? That's how bad it gets, because you're angry, you're frustrated, you don't know what's going on, and you want to know.
Yeah.
But the board's never going to come out and be that, because they've never been that way with the fans.
I'm fine. I mean, I don't know if it's just me again, it's just me. I'm fine with it. I don't need to know what's it. As long as, you know, as long as Celtic continue challenging to win and challenging to do well, that's, you know, I'm happy with that. All the rest of it, to me, it's just all politics, if I'm being honest. It's just all hearsay and whatever else. I don't get too bogged down with things. Things don't bother me. Like I've said before, lads, even millions of, I've said it millions of times on here. When Celtic win, I don't get too carried away. When they're successful, I don't get too carried away. I mean, Celtic lose, it helps me not to get too upset and too downbeat about it all. So the rest of it's all, you know, it's all hype. So, but the Celtic board have been absolutely phenomenal in what they've done for the football club over the number of years. And as I said, as Bev says there as well, Ryan, obviously what we've endured as Celtic fans and what we've been able to endure in terms of watching them been on the podium millions of times and getting his brilliant days out and stuff. That seems to be, for me, mate, it gets forgotten about. No, it's all, we need to do it again, it's all this need and should and must and that all gets put in front of it, and I just, for me, I don't understand it.
Nobody can criticise, like Bev says, since the 90s. Obviously, I was only a wee nipper, so I'm no, for me, the 90s, I do know what Bev's saying there, but we're still spending some money that we spent in the 90s. We're still bidding £2 million as well in the 90s. We're still doing the same stuff in terms of that as well. So, on the success.
£2 million in the 90s, man. Don't kid yourself.
Well, the guys like Andy Tolman that went for £2 million back then.
Some of the teams I remember, Alan Stubbs was our biggest signing away back then, and he was like £3.5 million.
The board, listen, people will say about certain things about the board, and I have as well, and I will continue until there's things that I think could be done better. I can't do their job, so I'm always telling them what to do as a job. We're just saying as fans what we think should be done better, or opinions. It's just opinions and what we feel the club should be best upgraded or best. It's all about wanting the best. Fans are just frustrated because we just want the best. We've all got different opinions, but the success of what we are and have been and the model we've got, we can't criticise it because of this, especially the domestic success. We can't criticise that. But the frustration for me is, and the fans, is we can sense it that there maybe it's in terms of the transfers, how maybe quick it is and stuff. You always need to look and try. Like I says, I keep going back to when Liverpool won the league a few years ago. They didn't strengthen and they were hopeless for a year or two after that. Man City didn't strengthen, hopeless after that. As much as what we've done in the past has been amazing, and last year, brilliant, by the way. You can't forget that. But see, as soon as the league starts on Sunday, last season's finished. What they done last year's gone, and it's what happens now and leading up to the Champions League and going forward. We need to always strive to be better. And I'm being honest, lads, you might not agree with me on this, other fans might know, but I think which some fans are accepting, i.e., I'm not going to sit here and say players are bang average or they're mediocre. I'm not going to say that on public enough because it's disrespectful. But I think what we're accepting are some players at the club. I think the standards are slipping. For like Yang, right? Starting 19 games and now potentially is going to be starting to take us forward. Scales is no good enough to take Celtic forward. Ralston's, for me, is no good enough backup to Arthur Johnson. They won't need it. There's other guys in the team, but I think the standard we're accepting, considering how much the money we've got, we put that to you, Bev, and JP come in as well. For me, the only reason I'm frustrated is why do we need to hoard this money? We've got plus £80 million in the bank, right? Go and do up the main stand that needs major work. Go and do up the toilets. Go and get a paint. Go and do everything in that as well, not just on the park. Why? We don't need to keep that money. See if we are looking to be this next level club in Europe, right? See if we go and spend £30 million, right, on players like we did last year. People might criticise, like myself, but they did show you success. We go to the knockout. We got all that money back. So see if you do that again, you'll get the money back. We've actually not spent any money. We're actually in the last 20 odd year, we're £5 million up. We've not spent a penny we've not spent money out of the bank, which is brilliant in business sense. But for me, Bev, I think if you go and spend the £30 million, whatever, to make sure you get in the Champions League, you become automatically a better attraction to players. Then I'm happy with signing players in the last week, of the window for the format side. I don't mind signing players once we've spent a bit of money to get in the Champions League, and then it gives you a bit more to play with and a bit more attraction. If we sign players to make sure we get in Europe, you become an automatic better attraction, because Europa League, as we've said, JP, the standards night and day for it's not what it used to be. We've got probably everyone's Celtic's history. We've got everything going for us: infrastructure, manager, money, financially, season everything's booming. And for me, Bev, the only thing that's frustrating for me anyway, and I can see why the fans have said, is we're at a massive power of strength here. And I know JP says it's, well, where do we go for here? Well, it's you just need to keep going to be better. And what's better? It's just being better. Just win more games, win more trophies. You just need to keep. You can't stay still. We can't just be happy with last year's team. Or Scales done well last year. That's fine. CCV done well last year. That's fine. No,
I think you're doing Scales a wee bit of a disservice with just saying he just done well last season, mate.
But
I really do.
Right. Liam Scales, what is he? He's a decent player. Decent squad player.
I understand your opinion on him. I get you might not like him in the team. You might not think he's good enough to be there. But to say that he's not good enough, I mean, he's already defied that.
But to play with Celtic every week to take Celtic forward, he's no good enough to take Celtic forward every week. Near's Adam Ida and near's Jan.
If he wasn't good enough for Celtic, he maybe get man of the match awards in the Champions League, mate.
I get what you're saying, right? But Lagerberger scored on something. He's away.
Carter Vickers hasn't even had a man of the match award, but everybody rates him as the fucking best.
I get what you're saying, right? But I'll put that to you, Bevan. Obviously, JP can come in. But I personally, it's just my own opinion. I don't speak for Celtic fans. I just think the standards of what we're accepting for guys to play at Celtic every week, personally, I think it's slipping. And I think that's why I'm frustrated that we can go and buy a far better than what's in the dressing room.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got different opinion on different players. Do you know what I mean? That's just it.
We're all football managers, aren't we?
Exactly, mate. I mean, you could pick your starting 11 for Saturday, for Sunday, JP.
I hope the football players are rugby players.
Do you know what I mean? You pick 3 different teams for Sunday. You know, that's just the way it is. You don't agree on certain players. The money situation, having that in the bank, yeah, I get that. It's there, spend it. You know, if they're paying the bills, you know, and the money's in the meter, and you've
plus I want better pies, mate. I'm sick of it. Most of them
I mean, the pies are horrendous. There's no hanging that. Get a sponsorship with wee Betty's at Park. You know what I mean? Keep the business low.
It's never even open, man. Everything
it's still gone, mate. Wee man's in there at 4 o'clock every morning rattling the pies out. So. Aye, the money's there, you spend it. You know, it's like you've got money in the bank. You go, right, saving up for a wee while, got to take a cruise. You know, you save up that money to give yourself a wee bit of luxury. Give yourself something decent to look forward to.
Yeah.
And if you've got 70, 80 million in the bank, you don't need to spend it all. You know, and as you rightly said, you spend money to accumulate money. Do you know what I mean? And the way we've done that over the past few years, Ryan, you're right. We've hardly touched the money in the bank because the players that we've sold on, the O'Reillys, you know, Jota, Tierney, the money that you've made off they 3 alone, and then you get Jota and Tierney back for nothing. You know, you've made money on Frimpong. You'll make money on O'Reilly when he leaves. You know, we're getting money for players that have long gone. Long gone.
Is it not true or not, Bev? I don't know if you're JP know. Have we not got a sell-on clause for Juranovic?
Yeah,
he's maybe going to Fulham or something, or not?
Aye, I've seen that.
Where is he the new again?
He's still at Union Berlin.
Union Berlin.
Aye, well, you've got that clause for him. So, you know, there's always money in the background, even stuff that you don't know about. But by
the way, Bev, see what you're just mentioning there? That's the board working as the board doing, doing what's best for the football club.
That's what I'm saying, JP. You don't know the ins and outs of the business side yet because that's not what we're all about. All we're worried about is who your best 11 is going to be on a Saturday or a Sunday or midweek or in the chat. That's all we're worried about. The business sense is the guys with the big suits and the big hoosies. That's what they get paid for. And because we don't know how that works, we get frustrated. We get angry. You know, and but I get what Ryan's saying. If you've got money there, spend it. Don't need to spend it all because, as he says there, you go out and you buy a couple. But then we were talking about earlier, you can go and spend 10, 11, 12, 13 million on a player, but they might not be any good. But you're just wanting to throw, your Celtic fans are expecting to throw that money to go, oh, we spent 13 million on him. He better be decent. He better get us to the Champions League knockout stages. Then you put a big onus on that guy's shoulders. You know what I mean? That he's got to come in and hit the ground running. So you've got to weigh it up. You know what I mean? It's hard. You could go and get a guy at $1 million that can be the best thing since sliced bread. You could go and pay a dud at 15 million and doesn't even score you a goal or get a free kick or gets injured. You know what I mean? You're forgetting all that these guys already can go and play. You're one injury away for your career ending. You know what I mean? You've got to remember things like that. So see, taking all that into consideration, you just need to settle down a wee bit, trust the process, which we have done, the past years, it's not as if we've no went out and no won nothing.
Ah, by the way, can you imagine what the fan base would be saying now if we hadn't won anything?
Aye.
This is when we're about bouncing doubles and trebles and everything else.
Well,
It'll be sharks out, as Bev says, it'll be sharks out.
The Melon Heart,
What if you went with the Mel Sharks at the Megalodons?
Dolphins.
See that Fulham, you're allowed to have pure anarchy for 24 hours. What's it called again?
Pubs.
The pubs.
The
Oh,
pubs.
man, that's what it be like. Honest to
That
God.
happens in my street right up to Parkhead every Saturday. You hear the siren going at Celtic Park. That's the start of the pubs and everybody just runs here. But you can see both sides. And it's frustrating to try and agree with one and try and agree with another without, or you're saying that and you're doing that. But unless you know the structure, the way Celtic run, the way the board goes, who the manager's asking for, the players. I mean, you've got to remember we're in Scotland. The only draw we have got to come here is Champions League football. And Celtic has a big name, don't get me wrong that way. But they don't want to come and play them in throws in a December night when you've been sunning it up in Spain or Italy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not wanting to come and play a cup game on a Tuesday night, freezing cold, 18 layers of clays on, gloves, hat, you can't see, whereas you're used to the sunshine. And
what was the jackets called? Mine with the goggles.
The North, you're running about with one of them.
The North Face one.
So, you know, we have got to be a wee bit sensible about what we're doing. And we have been, because that's how we've been successful, because we have been sensible, we have been smart, we know what. Aye, a couple of duds on the way, but you'll always get that. Every club will get that. But it's just, I don't want to go rushing in and you're paying 13, 14 million pounds for a player, and then they don't turn out, and then it's, what did you spend that money on him for? When you were the one.
We're hearing at the new, we done it last year.
Yeah, and then you were the one that wanted us to spend money, so we didn't bid for him because he was the only one available at that time. So we brought him in, and he's no good, you know. So you just got to keep a level head. That's all it is. We just need to keep a level head.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I say, we're hearing that the new. I mean, the Celtic fans were advocating for the club to spend money last summer. Well, they did it, and now it's like, oh no, Ravens, get us some more. It's mental. It's absolutely nuts, man. I mean, how many times through the years have people been written off and they've came in, they've done very well for the club, they've moved on, and they've got Celtic a decent fee in the process. But that just keeps getting forgotten about, and Celtic fans just, because it's like Big Barry McAllis, it comes on the channel now and again. He mentions it quite often. It's like a fix. That's what it's like. It's like it becomes an addiction. It becomes a fix. So I just want to see somebody new in the door. Celtic have made 6 signings already this summer window, but they're all forgotten about, including Kieran Tierney, by the way. Not enough people are mentioning that either. And they want to see more. So what they've got is not enough, and I've been told that some of them aren't good enough, but we want to see more. So as Bev says, let's go and pump 13 million on a guy that might come here and he might not speak a language, or he might not get used to the Scottish game, and then in 2 months' time he's not scoring goals if it's a striker or a winger or whatever else. And what do the fans say then? Because they're not belonging turning on him.
See, I get what you're saying, right?
The team and squad, even on the board, are being turned on at present.
I get what you're saying. You and Bev are right.
This is a club that's highly successful.
You don't go and just spend money for it. You don't just spend money for the sake of it, because that's crazy. But there's ways. See, May signings are a gamble. I think we can all agree on that, right? But see, if you do a proper scouting in your Jude, see like Ida, Engels and Trusted, like, see before they came to Celtic, right? Trusted didn't have a good season, didn't do well. Engels never done the numbers he'd done at Celtic, and Ida wasn't a proven goal scorer before he came on loan. Even he's proven to a degree, right? But he's no an experienced campaigner who's scored over 100 goals, right? Before he came to Celtic, we spent money on guys who were unproven, realistically, right? But see, if you spend money on guys, just say it's 12 million on a proven goal scorer, 9 times out of 10 he's going to come and score you goals. He's done it every other season. Goals, for me anyway, goal scorers don't stop scoring goals. They'll score goals. I guarantee you, if we sign Simon Murray, by the way, he would score 20 goals for Celtic. Martin Bhoy they'd all do it, because they're going to get chances here. They're going to get chances. A striker or a winger at Celtic is going to get maximum opportunity to score goals. Even, I know James Forrest won 1 goal last year, but I get what you're saying, JP. We can't, as much as we all want players. You can't be silly enough just because we've got money in the bank. You don't just go and spend £15 million on a player for the sake of it just to please me or whatever else. You buy it because you think he's going to improve the team. That's the only thing I want to do, lads. And I'm not saying going to spend £50 million, but I will be disappointed if we don't spend about £25 million in the next 3 weeks. We've got the money there to go and make this team real quality. I'm not saying go and spend that on one player, but we need to replace Nicholas Kuhn. We need to replace Kyogo. But let's be honest, lads, we've not replaced Carl Starfelt.
No.
But we've not replaced him yet. Trusty's not up to the standards yet, as we've seen. He might come good this year. Scales is neighbour near Starfelt. Dave Murray's still progressing. And Welsh is probably... he's going to go on loan or he's going to go away. So, Giakoumakis, for me, have we replaced Giakoumakis in terms of quality? I don't know. Some fans may say he just replaced him. I saw a bit of opinions, but we definitely need to replace Nicholas. For me, crying out for two wingers, the manager want. For me, anyway, I'm only going by the manager on this, but for JP, you can obviously say as well. The manager's telling me, this is what I'm reading, know yourselves or anybody else. I'm reading that he's wanting more quality than he's got. That's what I'm reading with the manager. If the manager's telling that he's not happy enough with what he brought in, and I know we brought in 6 players, but we don't know about a Yamada yet. We don't know about an Yamada. Doohan's going to be like Scott Bain. He'll pop at the cones out probably. He's just there for the Scottish quarter. And Osmond, I don't think he'll play. I was actually excited about the boy. I thought he was going to maybe get a bit of game time, but he's hard kicked the ball in pre-season. I think he might go on loan, Johnny Kett. So for me, lads, I think we've got a busy few weeks to get. I think players might leave as well, but I don't think on that, Bev. But I do think there's no point spending silly money, but I do think we've got a real capacity here to go and just strengthen again and just make sure we just keep going and be strong.
I think we need, me personally, I would be looking for about 3 wingers. 3 wingers to compete, because obviously you've got Yang Nu, who looks as if he is going to start because he Jota's out. We don't know yet what's happening with Maeda, but me personally, I actually think he'll start Maeda through the middle.
On Sunday?
Yeah. I think going forward now, I think he will start Maeda, and then making substitutions. If he's bringing on Ida, Kenny, whoever it was, he'll drop Maeda back to play in the wing. But for me, the new, you've got Yang and Forrest. Who's their backup?
Tilly will be, I think you believe, isn't he?
Right. We've got Jota's not coming back to January. We've not replaced Kuhn. So I'm wanting quality as a backup. You know what I mean? I think, and I'm not doing any, but Alistair Johnson, if he gets injured, we've got Anthony Ralston to rely on, which I don't think is quality backup. I want a good backup now. If you're to play, look, when we had Kyogo, Jota, and who else did we have at that point? Kyogo, Jota, and Abada, right? You were taking the 3 off. You were putting on Giakoumakis, Haksabanovic, and who was the other one?
Palmer, no, wasn't it? Palmer?
No, before him.
Forrest.
Anyone, but you were taking 3 off for 3. You know what I mean? You were going bang. It was a great 3 that you were bringing on for the 3 that were up.
You had Abada, Kyogo, and Jota.
Yeah.
And then you were bringing on, even then, if it was Haksabanovic, Maeda, and Giakoumakis.
You'd make Mikey Johnson as well, if you call that good enough, I don't know, but Mikey Johnson as well. Mikey Johnson's there as well.
Johnson, well, look, we get rid of him for 3 million. There's another bit of business that you wouldn't have seen coming. But our midfield, I think, sorted. You know, you've got McCowan, you've got Bernardo, you've got Engels in there, Negrin, Hatate, McGregor. You've got a great base in there for the centre. Out wide, I'm really worried about that, and then up top. But going forward, we're more capable in the league, but we do need to strengthen the wee areas. And I just think another right back and all would suit me as well. Because as I said, I wouldn't like to rely on Anthony Ralston. I just think he gets a wee bit heated up at times for me. He's like us. He's a Celtics fan that if you played for Celtic, you would run through a brick wall, and that's what Ralston does at times for me. he does too much running through a brick.
I didn't have potential anyway.
Rush your blood to the heat stuff, innit? And
You know what I mean? He makes stupid decisions just because the crowd's jeering them on.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like your pals all going, you jump into the water.
Tony, you go and do that, Tony.
You know, it's that kind of mentality with him, I think, now. You know, and I thought he maybe have grew out it, but he does wee flashes it here and there, and I don't think he's dependable for me if we lost Alistair Johnson, touch wood, through injury. You know, at the back, I get the scales hang, but for me, I would start Trusty and Carter Vickers, and then you've got Tierney there, who we've not seen much in Inamura, but I like the look of him. But it's again a lot of the guys didn't get a lot of time, like the boy Osmond and Yamada's just come in. You know, for what I've heard, the way he played in Saturday, he'd not a bad start. So, you know, we just need to get a bit of time. But again, Celtic's not about time. You know what I mean? Everybody wants things done. They want it done now. They want to see faces in. They want to see quality. And we all want to succeed, but we need to do it the right way.
100%, lads. As I said earlier, we do have an audio that's been sent in to us by one of our viewers. Going to be listening to that. It's about a 1 minute 41 second audio. So I don't know what it contains. I've not heard it myself, so we'll have a wee listen, and obviously we'll have a wee quick chat about that. I do want to mention, obviously, the new lad Yamada as well before we finish up. Obviously, coming on and making his debut all night. But we'll do this first. We'll have a wee audio, and then we'll have a wee chat about what's been said here.
Evening, lads. Hope we're doing well. Just a wee message to relay my concerns for the upcoming season regarding the players that have come into the squad at this stage. For me, we needed what I would call a guaranteed starter and a few positions to improve the starting 11. And for me, there's only one what I would call guaranteed starter, and that's Kieran Tierney, who I think is going to be an absolute sensation. Teams won't be able to handle him. He's got everything, and I think he'll play most of the games. People are getting caught up in these previous injury issues, which I can understand is concerning, but I think Kieran, as long as he's managed correctly, will be an absolute sensation for us this season. The only other one I could see is close to being a starter is Benji. Whether or not him and Engels can play in the same midfield, I don't know. So that's it. So KT is my only guaranteed starter. And the other four, I'll agree with Big Alan had said previously, Stevie Wonder taking a shot at the dartboard. It's a bit concerning. At the moment, I think we've only spent 5 million in 6 players, which is, for me, it's ridiculous. I know I've heard saying money doesn't guarantee success, but you've got a better chance of success if you spend the money. So that's my concerns, lads. 6 signings, and for me, there's only one that comes right into the 11. What's your thoughts?
Thanks to the audio. Well, first and foremost, I don't agree with the one that comes into the team. Because obviously out of the players that's been signed, he mentions Benji Negrin slightly there. I do think he'll come straight into the team, not just a maybe or a but. I think he came straight into the team. And I think Hatate and Engels all need to fight out to see who comes in beside him and Callum McGregor, for me. Kieran Tierney, obviously. I've said it millions of times, lads, he's world class. I can't believe we've got him on a free. You look at his pass for the goal we scored against Ajax. That's a left back that's doing that as well. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I thought Greg Taylor was a good passer there, but Jesus. So yeah, absolutely can't wait to see more of Kieran. Really glad he's back. I think the audio's spot on. I don't think teams will know what to do. There's already been evidence of You watched the Sporting Lisbon game, lads. The right fullback for Sporting Lisbon went back to baby nearly every pass when he saw Kieran step higher on the pitch. I think most teams will do that because that's the way Kieran will force you. If you do have a bit of belief and you do have that pace to try and break lines and get through, Kieran's tactically aware enough now and more experienced that he will be able to deal with what you're bringing. And he obviously has a ton of pace as well. I'm going to stick my net out in the line in a wee bit just now, and I'm going to say Yamada's going to have a big say in what happens there about starting up top. And I've only seen a video clip of him from Saturday. We're obviously going to touch on that. But Bev, obviously to get your thoughts on the audio that was just played there, I'm going to add in Yamada to my line of starters there. Inamura's done very well and all, so I think he's going to be an advocate even. I mean, this is a guy that's been playing out of position in his time at Celtic so far. So he's been a left centre-back predominantly before we signed him. And he's been playing out of position. And he looks unreal. He just looks as if he's been there for a couple of years now. I think he's one of those players as well, Bev, that he's probably turned the manager's head in that we're probably not even looking for a left-back now. You know, because he's shown that he's capable of being there. Everybody keeps saying a KT understudy. You might label it like that, but the amount of games Celtic play, he's going to play football. And this is the thing I know in modern day football. There isn't such a thing, in my opinion, anymore as guaranteed starters. We play an amount of games over a season. When you're at a club like Celtic and you are successful, maybe you're playing upwards of 60-odd games. You know, it's a lot of football. So you're going to need players in to cover certain games. Kieran Tierney's not going to play every game this season, by any means. He might play a lot of the big games and a lot of the more important games. But I do think that lad Inamura will get game time as well. Obviously, in terms of the audio, Bev, what's your thoughts, mate?
Kieran Tierney would go into any team in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how good he is.
Yep.
You slot him in a left back in any team and he'll do the same job for you. You know, I'm like you, mate. I can't believe I've got him back. I'm looking forward to it. I think we've got an upgraded Kieran Tierney for the level that he's played down at Arsenal. The training that they do, I mean, it's far superior. Yep. We've got a good training facility and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near the level of Arsenal and the stuff that goes on down there, you know. So getting him back as a free and slotting in at left backs is phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. The boy Negrin, for what I've saw, he's going to push Engels. Engels is going to have a fight on his hand, and Hatate and all, you know, depending on the three. But that's what you want. I want players like that, and it's going to be competitive. It just keeps everybody on their toes. And then in the background for that, you've got McCowan and Bernardo that are sitting going, right, this is what we need to do now to get in that start. And, you know, as you say, nobody's guaranteed. You're an injury away or you're a bad game away for getting chopped. You know, Inamura, for what I've seen him, I like him. Left centre back, but he's slotted into left back very nicely. The other boys, I've seen a wee bit of Osmond. I've not seen Yamada. So I don't know. But for me, out of there, you've got Kieran Tierney and Regan could walk out of that team. No bother. Inamura is good enough backup for left back. I don't feel we need to go into that position.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the other boys, so I'm sorry I can't really comment on them. But yeah, Kieran Tierney for me walks into any team at all.
Yeah. Brian, obviously, with the audio, mate, yourself and your thoughts?
I think we're all agreeing, lads. KT's, I'm one of his fanboys. I think I can't believe what you, JP, mate. I cannot believe that we've got a peak on his football ability and age-wise. We've got, as Bev says, with a better Kieran Tierney. He's training at a better level in Celtic in terms of the league. He's been fit through that. He's marking guys. Arsenal's training sessions might be harder than some of the games. That's how good the guys are. So he's came here fully, obviously not fully fit, but a better Kieran Tierney, totally. He's world class, lads. I think we're all agreeing that we are going to, especially European wise. Hopefully it's a Champions League, but no matter what tournament we're in Europe, no many forwards are going to get past him. Me and you, JP, we spoke about it during the Lisbon game that nobody was getting past him. As soon as the fullback, the winger got to him, he was turning back. And then when it was Ralston, he was getting past Ralston like he wasn't there. And that's why Bev's bang on about the are we being greedy asking for another right back? Maybe, but the quality drops, especially for European football. So Yamada, he did look no bad. He looks pretty quick, pretty sharp. Again, will he start the weekend? Will he get his name on the team sheet, on the bench, get a game time? We don't know. He's scored goals last year, didn't do well this year, but he scores goals, so we're not sure enough to date at this level. As we've said, JP, if the league that he's in compared to us, the pressure and everything else, it's a big jump, the pressure-wise, to win the game, so we'll see how he turns out. Anamura, again, he's done all right as well. He looks really good technically, but I want to see him defend more. I want to see him tested defensively in the league, and we'll see how he goes in the pressure games. I'm being honest, lads, I don't think Osmond will play much. I think he might go on loan near the end of the window. Brendan might assess him because he spoke about another striker, so Johnny Kenny's rumoured to go to Bolton, so I don't know. Will he keep 4 strikers? I don't know. I personally don't think so. I think Osmond might need to go on loan if that's the case, and I don't think Ross Doohan will play. They'll be lucky to get any game time at all. I think he'll be like Scott Carson at Man City and just be there, just to basically make high, collect trophies and collect a wage and collect some experience. But to be fair, see your Ross Doohan, lads, you've all got families, you cannot get back. I know he might not play football, but he's probably going to get $5,000 a week or something. Cannot get back, maybe get a family. So, see, I'm maybe down for you in terms of.
He's probably a better goalkeeper option.
Oh,
than
100%.
What
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I seen
upgraded that as well.
We've upgraded on number 3, but
yeah, definitely. See, I'm maybe different for you in terms of the guaranteed starters thing. I think there's certain players in that team, if they're fully fit, I think they play every week. Like McGregor, Hatate, Tierney, Vickers, Johnston, Schmeichel, Maeda. Negrin might come into that. So I think Brendan's got guys that he can count on every week to perform. I think guys like maybe Bernardo, I think Bernardo's a really good player, but he's been very inconsistent since we signed him in injuries. I don't think he's going to be playing a lot unless it's rotation. McKibben's the same. I've not really been impressed with McKibben in pre-season. Some people have been, his goals and that, but I think he gives the ball away a lot. And Hatate got really criticised for that last year at Brendan, the year before. And it's Celtic, as you know, especially Europe, at that level, you can't give the ball away because we've seen it in Dortmund. By the way, we didn't even play that bad in Dortmund. We get absolutely crucified because it was just, the quality punishes you. So I'm going to agree with parts of the caller said there in terms of there's probably 2 potentially that come in and make you better as it stands that we know about right now. So I think what Bev says, we're crying out for wingers, and hopefully we get that done because it's, especially European wise, I'm agreeing with Bev. I think if we go into this campaign right now, for Europe wise, I think we're going to be lacking.
Bev, obviously, on you go.
Yeah, 100%. It's as that you can see it in black and white. The standard that the Dortmund game was last year. As you say, we didn't do nothing wrong, but they had 10 chances and took 7. That's the difference. That's the difference in level. We spoke about it. Look at the one when we beat Bratislava 5-1, and then Greg Taylor gave away the ball, and I was raging at it. I was absolutely raging. The boy pinged a worldie because Greg Taylor gave away the ball and didn't chase it, and the boy pinged one out the top corner, and that for me annoyed me. And everyone went, "Oh, what you doing? We won 5-1." Mistakes like that cost you games. Then we went to Dortmund and we done stupid wee mistakes. We get punished. Every mistake we done, we get punished. You know, and don't get me wrong, Dortmund, they were a good side, but I didn't think they had 7 goals in them against us, you know what I mean? But that's the difference in quality for where you want to go. And then you look, then we seem to change it. We get used to it. I thought we had a good campaign through the group stage, and then we went to Bayern. and it's a completely night and day for the last time we were in Germany. You know what I mean? We were unlucky, really, really unlucky not to get through that night. But that's the level you need to beat at. And as it stands now, if we go with Yang, Forrest, and like Idar or Maeda up front, I'm sorry, but we're just not good enough to hit the heights that we did last year. As I said earlier,
to be honest, I think that'll be the forward line come that time, come the European tie.
Unless something comes in, mate, you know, we don't know, as I say, we've been talking about all night, we don't know what goes on behind the doors, you know what I mean? We don't know who they're looking at, what's coming in. But going into that campaign, mate, that's who you're looking at. If we don't get anybody in from now until the Champions League game, the Champions League qualifier, sorry, you're looking at Yang and Forrest. Maybe Maeda, maybe stick Maeda back just to give you that wee bit of experience. But then you go either up top or do you go with Yamada? You know, I don't know, because we don't know what's going to come in the next couple of weeks. You don't know, stuff might happen tomorrow. Stuff might happen before the weekend. You know, for all we know, on Sunday, we could be parading 2 new players at half-time on Sunday. You never know. But as it stands with me, now, yeah, if we were going into the Champions League qualifiers, as it stands now, we're a lot weaker than what we were last year.
I think, I don't know what you think, JP, what Bev says there. If we don't sign somebody by the weekend, I think I'll be disappointed. I think I will. We're crying out for a winger.
I think you said that about 3 weeks ago, wee man.
I'm still disappointed that we didn't get one last week before the Congo tournament, because see the fact that Kuhn left.
Oh, we did Yamada.
Aye, but I mean in terms of out wide, we're crying out.
No, him, somebody else. I want
No,
somebody
it's
else.
out wide. For me, out wide, I can give or take Adam Meader or Yamada for maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, right? But for the wingers, is because like Bev says, you can put Maeda up front if need be, so you're all right there for a few games. But the win situation, like James Forrest, are 21. James Forrest scored 1 goal last year. So James Forrest, realistically, on his form is no good enough to say of the week right now. It's no. And Yang's only started 19 games, lads, in 2.5 years. And then we're pinning our hopes on 2 guys who are out of form. Bears bang on. If we are that's potential. I'm agreeing with JP. I don't think it will be. I think we'll get guys in. But the reason I'm a wee bit frustrated is because we've got day qualifiers. We've got Aberdeen away, I think, in that as well. And then we've got Rangers at Ibrox in the space of 4 weeks. That's a tough one, a fixture. So we need to be prepared, because, by the way, normally when we go to Ibrox against Rangers, maybe the last 2 or 3 years, what is it this week? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 3? It's not going to be that now. It's going to be a battle. This is for the first time, I think, a long time going to Ibrox. I'm going to go, right, we need to be right up for it here. It's going to be a battle, because they'll be different. They're not going to be a long ball team anymore. It'll be more attacking, but it'll be possession based. It'll be quick. He's signing quick players. So for me, it's going to be a battle. I don't know what you think on that, lads, but we need to start building towards it this next 4 or 5 weeks, because this will. I'm not going to say it will put the season at an end or whatever, but it will shape the first few months of season, because if we don't qualify for Europe and then you beat Ibrox, lads, bad start. So you need to be fully prepared, and you can't think about getting beat, but you need to be fully prepared for the next few weeks. What do you think of that?
Well, hold on a wee second. There's a wee comment there. Has Yang ever played 90 minutes? He did, mate. He played the last 90 minutes for South Korea. Unfortunately, he's not had an opportunity as yet to do it at Celtic due to just making his sub-appearances. And in the games that he does play, he's then taken off for another player to come on. But he did play 90 minutes for his last South Korean appearance. So, yeah, in which I heard he did very, very well. No doubt, it's a player there that he's definitely developed. We've seen this over the pre-season. I was at the game against Newcastle. I thought he was amazing. I thought he was excellent. His running power. He gave Matty Target, who he spent a good sum of money on in terms of 16 million quid, I'm led to believe. And that was only 2 Geordie boys that were sitting behind me. He gave him an absolute torrid time that day. So, and he was good against Ajax, especially first half. I mean, you look at his he was unlucky with that one off the bar. He's at least had a brace as well as his goal. So, yeah, he's no doubt a player that's definitely developed. If you look at all the players that Brendan signed or Brendan gave the nod for the club to bring in his first season back. Yang's the only one that's still there or thereabouts, and he's still playing in all the big games. He's still playing in Champions League. He's still playing in derbies. He's still the only one that's kind of kicking about. Everybody else, well, Quan, he's away now, totally, permanently to Nantes. You've got Thiago Home, he's over in America. Palmer's now been let go, and I'm led to believe it's been made permanent after the next season. So all the players that are Bielka, Mike Nawrocki, all the guys that came in that window are more or less away.
Is that no a wee bit of concern for you for the 2 years though? That the fact that the guys, as much as I'm saying back Brendan, right, the guys that he's given, I'm being honest, lads. Again, I'm like you've said there, Bev. We're not in the room. We don't know what's going on, right? But I'm more gauging for Brendan's previous years as managers at Celtic and other teams, right? Brendan normally only signs European players, guys that have played in Europe and the European pedigree, and I know he signed Suarez for it, but guys that are normally for down south, like Scott Sinclair, he signed, and Cham played in Europe and he done well in, I think, Genoa, he done well. Brendan doesn't really go to the Japanese market, he doesn't really go to the Scandinavian market. I know they've been eager, but I think that I've lost my train of thought. What was I going to say there, JP? I was going to say something there. What were you saying?
I think you were going to talk about, you'd started that by saying, does that not tell you?
No, is it not a bit concerning that the guys that maybe the previous recruitment team and guys that we've signed are now getting sold and no staying here? Is that not a wee bit concerning?
Well, for me, Ryan, I put it down to, like I say, not every transfer is going to work out, mate, and that was just a bad batch of players that came at the same time and wrong timing of that. For me, Yang, I'm still to... For me, he's developed. So for me, he's changed as a player at Celtic. I mean, there's noticeable change. There's physical changes with Yang as well. So for the fact that he's been kept along the way with Brendan, he could have got shipped out just as easy as all the lads I just mentioned. But obviously, I don't know what Bev thinks.
It's one of the ones, lads, right? You're not a bad player playing for Celtic, right? Let's get one thing straight. As much as we don't like players and we don't think, there is times that we go, this player was rotten. He's had a bad game.
Get him out, Sean.
Right, it's as simple as that. But I agree with you, JP. The Yang has progressed. You have seen it. But am I going to hold my hopes on him taking us forward into Europe? No. As we talked about James Forrest's age, he's not the player that he was 10, 12 years ago. One goal last year, no. But it's we're shouting, who do we bring in? Who do we get? Who do we go and have a look at? What do we do? And it's the recruitment thing was at that time they were good because Laga Bielka played and scored in Champions League, man of the match in Champions League. Mike Dorofsky, who I hung me to the hilt, I thought he was going to be the next. I still
don't know how he's not here.
Bamboozled why we've not kept him. But
who do we blame? Who do we blame for that then, lads?
It's not a blaming game, JP. It's progression. It's how we. It's like the Laga Bielka and Dorofsky and centre backs, right? So you're bringing in Trusty and you're bringing in CCV. You've got Scales. You've got Dane Murray's coming in. It's progression, mate. It's who the manager at that time. He's brought him in. Right now we need to go this way now. So we need to offload them. It's we've always said, don't get too fond of a player because they're not going to be here long. Look at Kuhn, no here long. Matt O'Reilly, no here that long. It's progression and how we do, and we've constantly done it. And this is why I don't get all the big up in the arms, because we've constantly done the same thing over the years that's brought us success, that's brought us trophies, that's brought us money in. There's a system in place that's worked, and we just need to trust that. And that's it. In a bloody nutshell, you know what I mean? We keep going back to we're angry and frustrated, but that's the way we work. And the board are not going to change that for anybody. That's that. Let's get this put on the table now. They will not change because
no matter what we say, it's not going to change, is it?
They'll just wait. They'll just wait behind closed doors till everybody's away and then go to the back door. They do not care. They are not here to listen to what we want that spent, we want this spent, we want this one and want that one. And they will bring in who the manager hopefully says that he needs and what the team needs. That's what it'll be. And I've no doubt, because we say the same thing every year. I've no doubt we will bring in maybe 3 or 4 more players. So you've got to remember, you still get 4 weeks of the transfer. Still get 4 weeks of that left to get business done. You know, if you look down at Man City, Liverpool, and all that, they've got business in, but I guarantee you they'll still sign about another 3 or 4 players before the window's shut. Do you know what I mean? So you've got a time frame. Doesn't mean to say you need to do it then or do. You've got a time frame that everybody will work to, and I'm sure and I hope that Celtic will get the players in required within that period.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously boys there like Lagabielka and you know Nawrocki. Celtic fans seem to have liked Nawrocki and Lagabielka. We never really seen much of. But what I did see Lagabielka, I thought he was powder puff. I'm being honest, I didn't think he was, and I think both of them were equally too slow when the ball went that way.
Yeah. There's no denying that.
The rest of our centre halves that we do have now have all got a ton of pace. Now, Scales might not be the quickest out of 3 boys that I'm going to mention here, in terms of Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty and Liam Scales. But they're certainly a lot quicker than the 2 boys that we've mentioned about Lagabielka and Nawrocki. So that's a big... Doesn't matter what else you take into consideration in terms of technical ability or actual ability. That's massive for Brendan because he likes his defenders to have pace. Why? Because we play out for the back. So see when teams like an Ajax or a Leipzig or a Dortmund or whatever, he really wants you then once we get... If the ball gets turned over, he needs your guys to be right on it to either press the game and be able to get back as well. So we've got 2 centre-backs here that are slow and making the jail, Bev. For me, personally, they're no good to nobody.
I get that, mate. I like defenders with pace. I really do. But Nawrocki, for me, was just a big no-nonsense defender. See, if you had to put a game where you had to defend, he was your man.
Yeah.
Whether you'd pace or no, he was good at watching the ball. He was good at knowing where the position that he had to be in. He knew where the ball was coming. And he was good at the ball with his feet. You know, he was good at passing. He was good at tackling. He was good. I get the pace, right? I do get that. But if you're looking for a big no-nonsense defender that at times, when you look Celtic, we're under the caution, you had to defend, he was your man. But I get the pace thing because, yeah, the game is new that when you... other teams playing against you, they've always got that wee nippy guy. They've always got somebody that will run at you. Mm-hmm. And we need that. We do need that, especially in Europe. You look at all these young boys that are starting to come through the game. You know, they're fast, they're quick. And, yeah, we need that turn of pace or that 10, 15 yards to kind of compete with these guys that are fast. But, yeah, I get that. But for me, I was a big Rocky fan. And when Clubber Lang knocked him out in the 3rd one, I was raging. You know, but
Ivan Drago killed Apollo in the 4th one. I was
a big fan. I was no nonsense defender. Does what it says in the tin with him, and I was happy with that. But yeah, I do get your point, mate, with the speed thing. We do need that now in the game.
That's my only. Listen, I can't get in Brendan's head to say what Brendan wants to do, Ryan. But my only. And I seen what I saw of the boys and what everybody managed to see the boys. That was my only biggest telling point for both of them. The 2 of them are too slow. Their reaction time was too slow. And especially Lagabielka. I mean, we get away with one with that goal that was chopped off at Ibrox. I don't care what anybody says. We get away with one. He kicks Dessers and Foz. See if I'm kicking Dessers is getting stretched off. That's the difference between the power. And by the way, I've not played 11s at any level for a number of years now. But if I'm kicking Dessers, he's phoning his mammy and asking for a lift home. That's just a fact. Lagabielka. Well, there you go. Well, he's phoning his big cousin to come and get him, man. Somebody in his family nowadays. Either that or he's phoning Glasgow taxis and getting himself home. But one way or another, he's getting a run home. Fact. If I kick somebody, they'll know all about it. Simple as that, right? So he kicks a guy in Foz, and he was a wee bit sore. The tap at his foot, the bridge of his foot was, you could see he was in a bit of discomfort as well. But he did play on. But he would have felt that after that game. And for me, like I says, I can't get in Brendan's head, or I can't. But for me, if I was a manager, I'd be looking at that and on saying the way I would want my team to play. For me, they two were too rigid at times, and that's why the two of them are no longer with us.
I can understand that, because I think I did notice it when Mirovski was a wee bit rigid. I think I did say it to you and Alan and the other guys in the chat, Bev as well, that he is a bit frigid. But see if you're a good defender, you shouldn't need pace. You should know what to do. Like Big Maldini always says, if I need to make a tackle, then I'm terrible. I've not done my job properly.
A guy like Maeda,
Aye. I know, I get what you're saying, but
we're going to get embarrassed.
That's where you've got to know where to storm off, where to go. You should already be planning what you're doing. So if you know he's going to be quick, storm off a bit, let him come to you and then go. So again, like you,
Brendan doesn't want you storm off, right? He wants you pressing somebody at a high pace.
Again, I can only go back here, say some people we know have told me it's apparently it was fitness issues with Mirovski. He couldn't keep fit. He was always getting niggles. And see, if that's the case, I'm understanding with the club, because you can't keep somebody who's not going to be fit. You need somebody who's going to be available, no matter how good they are. They need to be available majority of the season when you play a lot of games. But the games that Mirovski played, Ibrox at Fung in the deep. He played at Ibrox at Fung in the deep. The Celtic Party at Fung in the deep end last year. He done well. He started against Rangers, done very well. He was probably the best defender, probably the best player on the park.
Yeah.
Hearts at home, I was at the game. He was brilliant, apart from one or two fresh air kicks. He was brilliant defensively. The game at Pittodrie, he looked at a £4.5 million centre back. He was different gravy. Like Bev says, one touch, boom. One touch, pass, crisp. Scales, it's 3 or 4 touches. Toss, it's 4 or 5 touches. He was right out wide, and that's what I liked about him. It was boom, sharp. He was good at defending for what I seen. And I couldn't believe the game against, I can't remember who it was we played. Was it Dundee at home? Scales was out for like 5 weeks, and he put me back in the team. And I was like, see if I'm Mirovski, transfer request, I'm off. Because I would have been livid if that was me. The fact that he's played 2 games on the trot, brilliant man and match performances, and then you put out the team, for me, that's poor. But like you say, JP, we can't get him in his head. We're only fans, and we only look at what we feel as opinions. But I can understand.
We're only fans, or we've got only fans.
I've got that at 10:30, aye. But no, we're only fans and putting our points across. It's the same with the board players. We're only fans and we'll get opinions. We're no right or no wrong. We're only putting, like Bev says, we're only putting across what we feel. We all don't agree. We all don't agree with viewers. They don't agree with us. It's football. If we all say that to everything here, there was no point being here, because we're just all agreeing with each other. I'd pop a shot. That's what I mean. So, but no, I agree with you, JP, in terms of that side. I can agree with you, mate, in terms of why they're not here. But for me, to what I've seen with Dane Murray, I know he's partly got all the attributes. He is physical. For me, Mirovski's better than Scales, and he's better than Dane Murray. That's my opinion. I think he's better than them for what I've seen. But I'm not a manager, and they're away for a reason, and he doesn't want them. So we need to go. We'll go. But I think that win, possibly. But that window, the fact that the guys that he signed are now away, that proves that the window wasn't good. That proves that the window wasn't good when he came. But we still won the league through it. We still won things through it. So I can see why they went JP, and like Bev says, we need to move forward, and we need to hope that we go and get some quality in the door.
Yeah, 100%. Like I says, I don't know if it's just me. We're getting older. I've said it before, lads. When I look at a Celtic side before we've added another player, and I look at the players who've just came and they're trying to bed in, like Inamura, Yamada, and I see some of them. I've seen a video of Yamada, and already I've kind of liked what I've seen. I've heard people talk about Yamada, and I'm getting a feeling that everybody's unanimous with us, and they're all excited about what he might bring the team. Because on the video, Bev, I know you didn't get a chance to see it the same as myself the other night, but he looks as if he's got real pace. Now, for me, we lost that when we sold Kyogo up there, and then Maeda went through the middle, and we didn't really lose it, did we? Because Maeda he's probably faster out of the two of them, right enough. But to me, he looks stronger than Kyogo did as well. But he also looks similar, which I found really, really surprising. Some of his movement reminded me of Kyogo, He likes to run across the player, the defenders, and get his body in and really show what he's all about. There was one, the boy actually knocks him out, but he's on the deck and he controls the ball and he goes running a wee circle and just gets away from the boy. And I think Celtic end up getting a foul off it for what the video shows. Now, the video's only about a 2.5 minute clip. The ball through to him when he's offside, he's that fast, he just makes his run, and it's a great pass as well. There was a shy down the line to him for Alistair Johnston. Bev, I don't know if you've seen this. If you've not, I'll definitely send you this when we get off. There's a shy down the line for Alistair Johnston. Now, in a million years, it doesn't look like he should be winning that ball. He throws the guy out the road, man, and just takes the ball off him. And that's when it leads to that boy pushing him and he falls and goes around the wee circle and keeps control of the ball. For me, it's early doors, right? It is early doors, mega early doors, because that was only his debut for the team. He's not yet made his home debut. But I really think this boy, I'm going to put my neck out there, and I really think this boy is going to be really surprising to a lot of fans who, one, have never heard of him, two, maybe still haven't seen him, and three, just exactly the quality level that this boy could potentially possess. Bev, obviously, I'll bring you in with that.
Well, as you say, mate, I've not seen Yamada. I've only seen the clip of his penalty. But that's just hit me. He's an unknown quantity. We don't know about him. We don't know much about him, but he could be what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't know. It's the same with the boy Osmond. I know he's not had game time. I know he's not had a chance, but what's to say that boy couldn't be number 9 or get a start all the time? You know what I mean? We don't know because they've not been given a chance. Yamada played, what was it, his second half, Ryan? He played on Saturday.
Aye.
You know, I mean, coming onto a game's hard enough. You know what it's like coming into a game.
Especially pre-season and it's all... Aye.
And it's your first game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he had much time with the players before he even played on Saturday, you know what I mean? So he said that wee bit of time this week now to gel in. And do you know what? You never know. We're all surmising who you're going to start with up front Sunday. What's to say that they don't start with Yamada up front Sunday? You know, it's you don't know. Do you
think Bev, see if he plays Yamada and he plays Maeda? Do you think that's if you're Adamida, you know, start to question yourself?
Well, hold on, there's a wee question there for Thomas Burns. I kept it was further on in the chat tonight, lads, and he actually says, who plays up front against St Mirren, Ida or Yamada? There you go.
Right, so you're talking about where's Maeda? You could play Maeda up front. You know, he could play Johnny Kidd. You don't know because the strikers through pre-season, mate, haven't really hit the heights we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kenny scored a couple of goals. You know, he does. For me, I would be looking for Ida to be head and shoulders above the lot of them. That's your number 9. You know, I want a number 9, like a big John Hartson, bringing that ball in, holding a defender off, getting kicks, putting your cell on, putting your body on the line to take hits, to take elbows, to take headers, to take slide tackles. Hold that ball in and draw a foul. For me, that doesn't do enough of that.
Yep.
And if you want to improve and be the number 1 striker at Celtic, you need to do that, and you need to put that ball in the net. You need to then get into positions. You need to break your back to get into that position, to be ahead of that defender. When that ball comes out, you're first to that ball. If it's 70-30 in the defender's favour, you need to switch that round for you to be that person that gets in front there to get that ball in the net. That's what your number 9, especially the size of Ida. He's good in the air. We've seen him playing games and having good games where he's had that ball at his feet and he's good. You know what I mean? He is naturally good with the ball at his feet. And that's what we need. We need a player that comes short, takes the ball, gets a foul, gets back into that box. For me, there's no doing that. The boy Kenny's still learning. Osmond, I'm favouring the use. I think he will get in loan. But you don't know. You know what I mean? The striker position for me it's up for grabs because there's nobody that stood out bigger than the other. You know what I mean? It's the man that it could go with anybody and they could be well worth their place on Sunday because nobody has stood out our pre-season for me.
Yeah, Ryan. I'm just really, really excited. The fact that we might actually have we've got potential now to have a brand new song, you know. And I would imagine the song's going to go like, we've got Maeda, he's on the wing. We've got Yamada doing his thing. Brendan's a leader, we're following Celtic all over the world. I just think that's going to go viral, mate. What do you think?
I'll record that and I'll get a mix of that for Sunday.
What I'm going to do is, after this, we're going to screenshot this. We're going to get you viral, big man.
Get him like a Max Headroom type of thing.
I'm actually going to audition for next year's Britain's Got Talent. I'm going for it, don't worry about it. Right, there's another one. Brown Moriel said, Viva la Quinta Yamada.
There we go.
There we go.
As we said, we don't know about this guy. This could be the boy that you're looking for. You know, we don't know.
Yeah.
I think, but see, in terms of a number 9, I've said it roughly. Bev's hit the nail on the head. See, anybody who's got maybe the late either or no, just listen to what Bev just says here. Does that mean they're that for you? No. So he's not your number 9. He's not going to be. Because at the age Adam is 24 and going to 25, you don't just learn how to be a striker at that age. You need to have it in you. You learn when you're 15, 14. You learn all that as you go up. And neither does he do it right now at Celtic. He's never going to do it. I don't know if you feel on that way, you back him once and finish this. He's never going to get there. Brendan can't, a manager can't teach you to do that. You need to do it yourself. A top striker knows that. Hooper, Griffiths, Dembele, Edward, Kyogo, they've all done it. So that right away for me, if he doesn't play on Sunday, sorry. I hope no Saturday, because I'm not going to the game. I'll be late if it's Saturday.
I was going to say that. There must have some fitness level to go on Saturday and to go again on Sunday.
If either for me is no starting on Sunday, I think it's, I don't want to say the end of him, but it's a massive. You're going to question whether he's going to be here longer term or even last the full season, potentially, because that's a shot in the arm to him for me. If Yamada came for big money, the wee man's not here, Maeda might need to go out wide. If he plays Yamada or Maeda in front of you, you're going to think, what do I need to do here? It's going to, for me, if that's not a boot up the bum for him, then it's not going to be. Yamada, who knows? Listen, I think I've said to you, JP, on this, the best place to play a new signing, again, no disrespect at Mirren, because they can be a tough team. They might just play big hitters and ruffle you up and try and be strong and battle. There's no better place to make your debut, 60,000, flag day, against maybe a lower team in the league. I don't want to say it is an easier game to play at Celtic Park. What a game to put you in. Go and get a goal, put your name out to fans, and it breeds you confidence. So Yamada could play, but I think he's going to go. I think just to take the question out and just to go with familiarity, I think he'll play Maeda up front, because you know you're going to get goals, you're going to get a nuisance, you're going to get somebody you know is going to score goals, and one or two chances. He's just it now. I think it's familiarity with Maeda now. I think for me, lads, playing Maeda out wide now, it might sound mental. I think you lose Maeda when you put him out wide now. I think he's a striker now for what I've seen, and I think if you're not going to sign anybody else, he's potentially number 9.
Well, I'll tell you what, see if he does play Maeda through the middle, that'll be a turn up for the books, because he's not done it yet over pre-season.
But I'm thinking, you're right, JP, but I just think
know what you're getting with Maeda.
It's familiar.
Listen, maybe that's how he's not done it, Bev. You know, maybe because he already knows what he's capable of there. Who knows?
That's just my opinion.
Yamada's going to have a say, lads.
Yeah.
Definitely, in terms of, he's not coming all the way from Japan to go, how hot the jackets, boys? On you go and enjoy your day. Do you know what I mean? For me, that's not happening. And that wee cameo, we did see him in 45 minutes. It's got all the Celtic fans and their grannies talking. It really has. I've seen it all on social media. And we were the same with Kyogo, weren't we, when he hit his hat-trick against Dundee? Now, we might see something similar to that on Sunday. I'm not going to start predicting Celtic are going to whack St Mirren, because St Mirren's always a tough game, but I think there's potential for Yamada to start the game. I certainly wouldn't be writing it off. A lot of Celtic fans are thinking Ida might start as well. Be good to be a flying aboard now, wouldn't it? It's one of the ones, Bev. It's be good to be a flying aboard now and see what Brendan's cooking up before the weekend, mate, to see what's actually happening. There is one lad, just before we finish up, there is one lad we are certainly active for. And again, if the media is to be believed, then we have made a loan offer. This is a bit of a mouthful, lads, so bear with me. I'm normally bang on with these, but I've had to practice this before this. So his name is Jamai Simpson Pusey. That's the way you pronounce it, and that's the way he's...
Manchester City.
Yeah, Man City. He's a 19-year-old centre-back. And for what I've read about him, he plays with 2 feet. He's got a really good right foot as well as he has a really good left foot. He played some Champions League football last season for Man City. My understanding is he did very, very well. There is another team in from, I believe it's Strasbourg in France. I don't know where Strasbourg, I don't watch French football, so I don't think I would have any knowledge as to where they finished in the league last season. So I don't even know if they've got European football. Who knows? I don't know, but
I've not
obviously
heard Strasbourg even there the past few years.
No,
yeah.
You know, so I don't even think they're in the first division. And if they are, they're obviously battling relegation. That they're still in that league and not playing European football.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I mean, I don't know where they are, or I couldn't tell you if they're even in Europe. But I do know.
That's right, Ryan. It's him. It's the manager, Liam the senior.
I do know that lad. The lad for Man City, obviously, I would imagine he'd be wanting to play European football. Celtic are guaranteed group stage European football. If they don't make this Champions League coming, if they manage to not be able to negotiate that tie for the playoff, they're guaranteed 8 games in the Europa League group stage. So I can only big my own club up because I know a lot about them and I don't know enough about Strasbourg, Bev, but I would imagine the lad certainly playing football, mate. I'd imagine he'll know who Celtic are and obviously see Celtic as a big club as well.
Well, we seem to have a good relationship with Man City and bringing players up, like Samaras and Roberts and stuff like that. We seem to have a good relationship with them. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm, as I said, I don't know much about Strasbourg. I'm just going for, I've not seen them in Europe, even the Conference League. I've not seen them anywhere there. So I would imagine that they're a bottom tier team. I mean, at 19-year-old, for me, if you want to win trophies and you want to win medals and play at the highest level, you're going to pick Celtic or Strasbourg. It's a no-brainer. It's down to agents, it's down to ambition, it's money. It's all right saying this boy, we want him but then that boy's 19-year-old. Is it going to be guaranteed to slot in and play football when you've got Trusty and you've got Scales there? So you don't want to come up on a loan deal where you're no playing football to no play football.
Yep.
You're wanting to make sure if I'm coming up to Celtic, you need to give me the guarantee that I'm going to play at least 20, 25 games. Right? And I think that's for a 19-year-old boy, I think that's a reasonable amount of games that you could promise that boy, considering you're talking about the game. We play 60-odd games a season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good comeback to go, right, we'll give you 30 games a season. Mm-hmm. See how you progress, see how you do. If you do well, then you might never get the boy out of the team. But again, it's an unknown quantity that you don't know what's going to happen. But at 19-year-old, for me, you would need assurances that he's going to play. I don't want to bring players up that's going to sit on a bench, and we don't know what he's like. Don't get me wrong. I do know the boy's name. I have seen him in the Man City team and stuff like that, but I wasn't really paying attention to how he played or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. But for me, if you're going for a boy like that, you're picking Celtic or Strasbourg all day long.
Yeah. Ryan, quickly, obviously, before we finish up, mate, get your thoughts on that one.
You're picking Celtic all day long, mate. I know he's quite highly regarded with Man City. My only thing is, if he's not coming with an option to buy, I generally don't see the point. Because unless he's an absolute belter like a Ruben Diaz or something, then for one season, that's one thing I'll say, by the way, about this window. I don't mind us going and getting maybe somebody who's at Arsenal or Man City who's maybe on, just say, this is not going to happen, right? But just say it was an out of favour Jack Grealish and you're able to get him out, like, just say like Robbie Keane came to Celtic, see like that type of signing. I don't mind that for a year. I don't mind that because you know he's going to bring you goals or he's going to bring you good defence. You know he's going to help you massively, at least for a season, to fill the void, to then maybe go and get a permanent player next season who you can maybe scout for a year and then go and get him. I don't mind that stopgap, but he's quality. But if we're going to send a 19-year-old boy from Man City, sign him for a year, develop him, and then give him back to Man City, for me, I don't know what you feel, lads. I could be crazy thinking this, but I think that's pointless. There's no point in bringing somebody in, developing them and goes, you know what, see you later. That's actually worth £25 million now, we can't sign you. I think there's going to be a clause in it where if he plays whatever many games or whatever, that it triggers us to maybe pay £10 million or even 12 maybe, say, right, and he's done really good for you. If Celtic potentially think this boy's going to be good, maybe say to right, Man City, look, we'll take him out on loan, put in a clause of maybe 10 million. If he's good, then we'll buy him off you, because I don't see the point in us buying somebody if you're down south to loan him, and then no buy him. Because you're obviously signing him because you think you're good enough to play with Celtic. Surely put in a clause to potentially go and get him. If no, I don't see the point, lads, personally.
No, I can see what you're saying, Ryan, but it does have another win situation there for Celtic as well. You look back to Jason Denayer. Jason Denayer only spent one season with us, but he did well. And obviously we had the luxury of having Jason there beside Virgil van Dijk.
That's true. That's true.
For me, you know, I really don't mind it. If it's an option that we've explored, and, you know, you just look at mentioned both from tonight, the club, if it's only going to be a year's loan, but the club might be slightly reluctant just now to go and spend what they spent on both Lagerbielke and Nawrocki for another Lagerbielke and Nawrocki situation to arise. But I've got a feeling this one's slightly different. I've got a feeling, obviously, this is Brendan Rodgers using his head here and his knowledge regarding the UK market again, because Brendan will know this lad. And this is why this is even come in to play. Brendan will know about this boy for his time at Leicester. There's no doubt Brendan's maybe even been at games where this boy's come up against his Leicester development squad, or, you know, Brendan will know of this boy. And some of these lads, they're, you know, even some of the development boys at these bigger clubs, they're really difficult to come across. They're really difficult to get. So if we're getting this guy for a year, there's no guarantee this boy, again, is going to come in and do something really well, but there's also no guarantee he's going to come in and be poor, just because people are going, he's only 19. But he's got great, for a 19-year-old man in the football, I mean, just all you need to do is go and look at his CV so far. He's played a lot of really good games, and he's got a lot under his belt playing under a manager in Guardiola. The lad's probably now looking to go and try and establish himself somewhere. If Celtic can't get a buy option and Man City see this boy as a long-term replacement for, like you mentioned, Ryan, a Ruben Diaz then I do not see a problem with Celtic going and signing this lad if he's going to bring us success. If he's going to help bring the team success, and we're going to, this boy being at the back, mate, with Tierney, AJ, CCV, could be the difference in us getting to the Champions League or no.
See, the only thing with that is, again, I'm just putting this out here, would it not be a slight concern that if we have went all window, right, just say this is only centre-back we sign, would it not be a concern that the recruitment team can only, but bear in mind, this is only if there's no one option to buy, right? Would it not be a concern that every defender in the world that we can recruit, it's a loan signing for Man United when 19, and he's would that not concern you? It'd be concern me.
It would be a concern because it's been reported he plays for Man City and no Man United, so it's definitely
well, Man City, sorry, Man City. But there you go. But if this is only if it's an option, no buy, right? If it's only a loan deal, right? For me, that would slightly concern me. All the defenders that you can get in the world, that it's a loan deal for a 19-year-old for Man City. That without an option to buy, for me, is pretty concerning. Well, no, he's good or no. That's not beating the point. But for one season to loan him out and then no sign him on, but you can go maybe buy somebody who is going to be maybe 24, 25, get him in the door, bit of experience, proven. I don't know what you think, but I would be slightly concerned that an experience of Paul Tisdale and David Pleat and other guys there, that's the centre-back that they're going for. I don't know about you.
Well, I look at things differently as well sometimes, and I think this lad, Bev, obviously bring you in on this, but I think this lad's things have changed at centre back for Celtic now, because I do believe Dane Murray's going to be there next season. I think Dane Murray's going to be a part of things next season, and I think that's why Brendan's been working with him. And we're led to believe, you talk about Nawrocki playing that Rangers game, that was going to be Dane Murray if Dane Murray never picked up his injury. So that's how much Dane Murray was thought of by our manager. So I believe if Celtic sign this 19-year-old lad, then I believe he's coming in to be the next guy beside Dane Murray, to then be the next go-to guys in order to come in and help the team. This guy might be good enough, Ryan, to take Scales and trust out the team, and one of them end up getting onto the bench and he plays beside Cameron Carter-Vickers, because I don't believe anybody out of all that the new is going to displace Cameron Carter-Vickers unless he's injured.
I'm like Bev, mate. I don't think this guy's going to come here and no play. He's not leaving Man City and no come to Celtic to be sure that getting game time.
That is true, but Alex Valle came and never really played too much either.
I still say that's a guy we'll miss out on. I really do. I think no, in terms of even backing up somebody like Tierney, because I'm being honest, I think Valle's got a very high ceiling. He's got a very up and coming team. He's playing a lot with now under Fabregas. He likes him. Fabregas, by the way, I think Fabregas is going to be a top manager in the future. He's going to be managing Barcelona or something like in the future. He's top. He believes in him. He's signing him Nicholas Kuhn, so he's got an eye for a player. I believe Valle was a good player for us. He just didn't get, maybe he couldn't settle, I don't know, or maybe because...
And that sometimes is also a predominant factor in why players don't make it here, mate. Mm-hmm. Bev, obviously, what's your thoughts lastly on what Ryan was saying there in terms of the young lad?
Yeah, if he's coming to play. It's as simple as that. I don't think if you're a development player, you're coming up to sit on the bench. It just doesn't work that way. He'll have assurances for Brendan and for Man City that this boy's got to play a certain amount of games, or it won't happen. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. If he comes up, he's coming up to improve the team, and he's coming up to play.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think he will play as well if he's coming here. You're not leaving a Pep Guardiola's Man City side with not having a slight guarantee that you're going to play games. He will be part of it. There might be some games where he doesn't play and we go with somebody else like Alec Valle, because in my opinion, Alec Valle was coming here from Barcelona and everybody in their granny thought he was going to play. Mm-hmm. Everybody said, right, he's coming in, he'll be the man to take care of Greg Taylor. And that wasn't the case. He played a couple of games, but Greg Taylor predominantly played more than what he did. Now, as Ryan says there, he might not have settled and he might not have been able to. And that sometimes does happen as well, unfortunately. Guys just can't, for whatever reason, guys just cannot, they can't settle here. That's just that. That's another fact and why guys don't make it here and then get moved on fairly quickly.
It's a big lifestyle change, especially for young people. Especially for young guys, it's a big lifestyle change. You just got to look back to Petrov's story. Mm-hmm. You know, if you listen to it, Stan Petrov when he first came here, he was in tears because he was stuck in a flat. You know, some guys, it's a big lifestyle change for young guys, especially now. It's different now. It's more. Yeah. It's at a different level now. But there's overwhelming factors all here that's got to be taken into considerations. But if that boy's coming up, he's coming out to play.
Yeah, and lastly, guys, I'm reading through some of the names here that Celtic could potentially be drawn against the Champions League playoff. Now, I want to take the time now to just say single-handedly, without us signing anybody else, me personally, I've got full confidence in this Celtic side to be able to negotiate that tie. Looking at the teams that we could be drawn with. So Well, that's your opinion, Ryan, but I'm only
Aye.
taking on past history with this team, mate, and I know what they're capable of. And this team can perform, as Bev says earlier on, you're a ball head away from not Bayern Munich out the Champions League. And this is a team that spend hundreds of millions of pounds just in one player at a time. So the teams that you're looking at potentially for a draw, you've got teams like Maccabi Tel Aviv, Slovan Bratislava, who was mentioned earlier, like absolutely destroyed at Celtic Park the first night of our Champions League campaign last year. You've got Basel in Switzerland, who Celtic have come up against previously, but obviously that Basel team has now changed from the Basel team that's there just now. Teams like Sturm Graz and Steaua Bucharest from Romania. So there are some of the teams there that Celtic are potentially going to come up against, because Celtic are obviously seeded for the draw. Just before we finish up, Bev, to get your thoughts on the teams there, how would you see that going if Celtic weren't to add another player to their roster?
Aye, I can see us probably qualifying. It'd be a battle. It'd be like a Shakhtar Donetsk where you're 2-0 down and then you get a last minute goal to win 3-0. You know, it'd be one of the ones, but they teams aren't the teams they were years ago. You know, Basel, and I think the one there that would annoy me is probably Steaua Bucharest. Out of that would, the rest I could see is Steaua would maybe a bit sticky, but the rest I could see is progressing as we are the new. But it would be difficult. But I would see us progressing, but it would be really, really squeaky bum time, as Alpha Fergie says. You know, it would be a hard watch.
I'm similar to you, Biv. I think you might get it out of the line, but I think you're gambling on. I know JP's almost saying this is hypothetical, but I think you'd be gambling big time. I would want to make sure. I think being another 3 or 4 quarters, even
by the way, I don't think Celtic.
Aye.
That's all
hypothetical.
Yeah.
I can get your confidence, JP, totally, because like we've said here, the midfield's fine. If you even with first time back the back 4, you're fine.
I've just got belief in my team, Ryan. That's what it comes down to, mate. I've just got the belief because they've predominantly showed me through what they're capable of.
Like I says, I think we're weaker to last year. So I think you're like Bev says, you'd be confident in a way, but there's a lingering doubt because of which the teams are they're stuffy teams. They're no, as Bev says, we've seen Bratislava. I think if I go to them, I'll be confident because I know they're no great. At Celtic Park, you're always, listen, Celtic Park can beat anybody, but we can't take what we've done last year as grace because we're no brilliant away from home in Europe. We never have been. I hope last year was a change and we can continue, but you've got to have faith in your team. But could I be fully confident you'd be going and aggravate the ties easily? Definitely not. As Bev says, you would at Celtic Park potentially, but away from home, I think it'd be squeaky bum time. But like you say, you have got to have faith in the team. There is plenty of quality in that team still to go, but you cannot gamble for these qualifiers because there's too much money to gamble on, mate, personally.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, mate, and that's what it's all about. It's all about different opinions. Thanks very much. Obviously, yourself, Bev, for taking the time with us tonight. I know we have ran way over normally what we normally do, but that's what happens. We're having a good chat. Time flies.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the chat tonight, guys. It's good to get a wee chat with again and good to see everybody again. So, let's just look forward to Sunday and hope we get a result. Yeah,
that's it. Well, obviously, season starts. It's flag day for us all, Ryan, at the beginning of the season. But again, mate, cheers for your time tonight.
No, like Bev says, it's good to get chat with Bev, and like he says, we don't all agree in everything. If we did, the pubs would be shut, but many be on here. So, but it's been a good chat. We've been through a lot of things, and like he says, it's no all negative. There is still positives to go in, and like he says, Carter Vickers hopefully getting back in as well. I think Johnson's back. Maeda, so there's still good parts of what's going on, but obviously there's bits we obviously need to talk about, and we hope that, like we've all said, hopefully we can get players in and in certain areas. But let's just hopefully get a good victory next week. We look forward to back at Celtic Park and the season kicking off.
100%. Obviously, we'll be back more as the week goes with some more content for you. If you are new to the channel, folks, and you've liked tonight's chat, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's totally free. It does help the channel go a long way, and obviously helps your man there on the bottom of the screen. and what he does for the channel as well. So, aye, please do so in an orderly fashion. But for the time being, lads, hail, take care, and enjoy the rest of the week. If I don't see you,
Take care.
Have a good one, lad. Cheers.
bye.
Sets up Larson here. Larson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly. How about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you! In for Henrik Larsson. And Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic! Here is Shunsuke Nakamura!